Hello everybody, welcome to Next to Nature this week with Dr. John Long, and this week we're talking about some of the peskiest pests that are also painful.
That's right, that's right, very painful.
This time of year we'll see them a lot, and that's fire ants.
That's right, that's exactly right.
And what I thought was interesting and something I'd never thought about was you can find them anywhere.
Anywhere. Back in like 1930 is when they started showing up in Mississippi. They kind of migrated from Mobile, and there's thoughts that they came in on shipping crates from, South America and other places where they're very prominent. But they've been with us ever since, and they are a pain, big time.
Yeah, they are. And they can really kind of attach to anywhere. And the reason we're beside this tree here is because down there at the bottom, at the base of the tree is, I guess you would call it a mound. Most people think of a mound as being something up above on the surface, but that's maybe not the case.
Maybe not the case. A lot of times when you see those mounds is because they're in an open area. And within a mound, there could be over 200,000 ants in a mound. So they're a lot. They're very prolific as far as survivability. We have very mild winters here compared to further north. And interesting enough, do you know how and no offense to anybody, but do you know how you can tell geographically where somebody's from?
No.
Because you'll see somebody where they don't have fire ants, they'll just plop down right on the ground. And if you're in a place that has fire ants, what do?
You go look at the ground.
First thing we do is look on the ground, and it's just instinct that says, hey, we got to look for fire ants. That's how much they've influenced our life. But they are very resourceful. They do remove their dead from the mound. If you probably heard, they have graveyards and they have trash piles. That's very true.
All right, John, you were talking about there are other ways to treat your yard just other than the mounds.
Right.
Can you kind of explain that?
So a lot of people will take different types of chemicals and apply it directly to the mound, and all you're really doing is getting contact with those workers that are on the outside of the mound. You're really not doing anything. The thing that you want to do is kill the queen. So once you kill the queen, the whole mound dies. So there's granules or baits that you can put around the mound, and it's important that you put it around the mound as opposed to on it, because worker ants will remove that bait off of the mound as it's garbage. So put it around the mound. I think it's about 3 feet around the mound, and then the workers will take that bait, take it to the queen, feed it to the queen, and when that happens, all the workers die. The mound, you can tell the difference when the mound is, they're dead.
Yeah.
They don't work the top of the mound anymore, and it'll crust over, and you can literally touch it and just falls in because they don't have that structural integrity that the ants are constantly working on.
Okay. All right, and just so you know, these things can sting and bite.
They do. They don't just bite and they don't just sting. They do both.
Which makes them worse.
Well, it makes them worse, and of course that's where it gets its name from, is it feels like being burned by fire. And that's one of the things that's indicative of the ant. The scientific name for it is Solenopsis invicta, and we have 3 different types. It is a big word. I'm not full of a whole bunch of big words, but that's one. There's 3 types that we have in Mississippi. One is the red imported fire ant, a black imported fire ant, and then a hybrid. And you'll see more black imported fire ants toward the north part of the state. We have hybrids and reds here, so just a little trivia there or whatever. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
I learn something new every time. All right, thank you so much for joining us this week on Next to Nature with Dr. John Long. We'll see you next week.